Crafters. In tonight's video, I'm going to show you how to use a decorative mask to make a birthday card. More specifically, we're going to be using the flowers found in the Abundant Beauty Decorative Mask. And we're going to be using the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper for the background paper. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan's Simple Paper Crafts found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by, and if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. This is the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper that caught my eye, and I'm trying to recreate it with this card. I used the Abundant Beauty Decorative Masks, the sunflower one and the center one. And then for the sentiment, I used the Happy Birthday on Something's Fancy Cling Stamp set. And then I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. So I'm making a belated birthday card. And I need a couple of these. So let's get started. We're going to start with a piece of BOHO Blue cardstock, and I'm going to use my trimmer to break this down. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to score at 4 1/4 inches, and that's going to give me 2 cards that are scored, which I said I need at least 2 cards of the belated birthday. Then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2 inches. 5 1/2 inches will be 14 centimeters. And that gives me 2 pieces of cardstock at 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, or 14 centimeters by 21.6 centimeters, scored at 4 1/4 inches, and that would be 10.8 centimeters. And I'm going to fold and burnish that. And I do it on both sides because I like to get a nice crisp edge there. Okay. Then the next piece we're going to cut is our basic white thick cardstock. And I'm going to cut 5 3/8 off from here. And I'll set the rest aside for another card. So 5 3/8. You see that's 5 1/4, 5 3/8. And that's going to be 13.7 centimeters. And then we're going to cut 4 1/8. And that'll be 10.5 centimeters. And the next one, I'm going to use the same piece here. And I'm just going to trim off the extra cardstock. So I'm going to make it at 4 inches. And that's going to be 10.2 centimeters. Oops. Let me try this. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 5 1/4 inches. And that's going to be 13.3 centimeters. I'm going to talk about my trimmer right now. So the trimmer has 2 blades on here. This is the scoring blade. That's the light tan blade. And then this is the trimmer blade. That's the dark top colored blade. And I put a third one on there. It's the same as this one, except for this one has been used quite a bit, and so I marked it as glitter. So I use it on glitter paper because glitter will really dull it quite a bit, and I don't want to use it on a brand new blade, so I'm going to use it on this glitter blade. And this has 2 measuring options, one at the top, actually 3, one in the center and one at the very bottom. And if you use the top, you're able to butt it right up to there. So that's what I usually use, that more so than down here. And when I have a long piece in there, I will kind of eye it up down here as well to make sure it's straight. And then we've got our swing arm here, and that allows me to cut a piece up to 17 1/4 inches, or that's 44 centimeters almost. So what I need to do next is cut our cardstock. So I'm going to bring in our Fresh as the Daisy, and I want it to be in this direction. Hold on a second. So this one, I had the strokes on the paper going up and down. I thought I was going to be making a card in this direction, so that's why I did it that way. So I want it to be in this direction. So these are the strokes that I want to go across horizontally. So we're going to make that at 10.5 centimeters. So that's the 5¼ inches times 2 will be 10.5 inches, or 26.7 centimeters. And I'm just preparing this so that I can cut the rest of the cards out of this paper. Then I'm going to turn it, and we're going to cut it at 4 centimeters. Excuse me, 4 inches, or that would be 10.2 centimeters. And then we'll turn it once more, and we'll cut it at 5¼ and that's going to be 13.3 centimeters. And so now I have 2 of these. We'll only need 1 for right now. I think we're done with this for a while. So let's see if we got our pieces here. So we've got our base card there, and then we need our inner card, this one right here. So this is the card stock that we cut at 4 inches by 5¼ inches, or 10.2 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. And I'm going to stamp this with our inside sentiment, and that's the "I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration." And I'm just going to use Memento ink in the tuxedo black. And I'm going to turn that over. And I'm just going to try and center it. Now, if I had my grid paper down, I would be able to see the center, but I can pretty much eyeball it. And I'm going to tilt it this way because the stamp is on crooked on the inside from the lettering on the outside. So I put the stamp on the back part crooked. There. And then I'm going to take our 1/2 inch by 3 inches, but this is actually probably 5 inches. And I am going to stamp that with our sentiment. That's the happy birthday sentiment. Sorry if my head's in the way. I'm going to try it on this side. Okay, wiggled. That looks a little bit better. Okay. Then I'm just going to bring in our scrap paper so that I can get that excess ink off from here. And I'm going to close this up. And then we're going to bring in our Stampin' Scrub to clean off the stamps. Okay. So we have the watermark right up here. It's like a raindrop. And then there's a sunshine here. So I'm going to spray this side with our Stampin' Mist. Okay. All right, those are taken care of. Next, I'm going to bring in my paper grid mat, and I'm going to tape this down to my workspace using our Post-it cover-up tape. And I've got some that I used from the first card, so I'm just going to reuse that because it seems to hold rather nicely. And that's just going to protect the work surface. Then next I want to put down is our cardstock, or in this case it's designer series paper, and I'm trying to put it on the grid so that I'm putting it on here somewhat even, or level I should say. And I'm going to use some more there. Then next we're going to bring in is our masks, and I'm going to bring this one in right about here, sort of in the middle. And I'm just going to use some more tape. The next we're going to use is our masking paste, and this is the shimmer white embossing paste. So it has some glitter in it. I didn't buy the regular white, and now that I'm working on these cards, I am going to go back and invest in some of the regular white because I think it looks really good with the shimmer, but I think it might look just as nice with the regular white. So I am going to use my credit card here and just get some paste out of here. And I can't get it there, so I'm going to use my spoon to get a little bit more out. And I'm just going to put it on here, and we'll spread that over. Okay, let's see. And we just want to get this all kind of even. Okay, I'm thinking that's good. So I'm going to remove the mask and leave that down there. And then I'm going to go and wash this and while I let this dry. And I'll clean up the rest of this stuff as well. Okay, this has dried, and what I should have done before I pulled this off was mark the positioning of it, because there's a little notch up there, so then we can put on our next mask and we know where it is. So I'm just going to mark it with the V right here. Then we're going to come in with our next mask and we're going to position that right in that same V. And then I'm just going to tape it down. And this time we're going to mix some color. Let's see if I hold that off. There we go. We're going to mix some color. We're going to take the shimmering paste and I'm going to put it into this little cup here. And then I'm going to close this up because I'm not going to put that paste back in here. And then I'm going to zip it in this Ziploc because it will dry out and it won't be any good. So if I put this will help keep it wet longer. And then we're going to put 2 or 3 drops. 1, 2. And then we're going to stir it. I have this tiny paintbrush we'll be using. No, it's a credit card we're going to be using. We'll use the paintbrush a little bit later. We are going to use a little more white. I forgot about that. So I just want to mix this up to get all that liquid into there and get it the right shade. And I used 3 drops. And I think we've got it the right color. I'm just going to put that in there too. Okay, so I'm going to just try and get this spread on here. And we're just going to cover each of these sections here. And then we're just going to come back through with that credit card and scrape off the excess. Oh, you better do it this way. That looks good. And I'm just going to throw all that away. You could clean up the plastic cup if you wanted to, but I decided to just throw it out. And we'll clean this off. While this is drying, we'll put some white stripes on here for the stems. And we're just going to bring them right underneath the flower and down off the edge of the page. And the trick is try to get that to lay down without being too thick. Got a very fine paintbrush here. There. Then I want one off from this big one up here. I have a difficult time getting this to lay right. And then with this having glitter in it, if you lay it down, the glitter stays on the paper and there's no white. It might be best to use the regular masking paste than the shimmer paste. There we go. We'll do one right from here. Alright, now I can seal this up. Okay, this looks like it's kind of dry, so I'm just going to peel this tape off from here. I'm just going to set it aside to finish firming up. And then I'm going to bring in our base card and then the inside sentiment. So we can just glue that with, and I'm going to just get rid of this grid right below here. So I don't know if that'll spread to our card or not. We'll do that. Okay, so we've got our card that says, "It didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration." And we're going to put some glue on there. And I'm using this multi-purpose glue, but it's in this needle nose bottle because it helps me direct it a lot easier, particularly when I'm working on those fine pieces. And I am just going to put it in the center of the inside of the card, and I'm leaving 1/8 of an inch on the bottom, top, and right hand side. And it's about 1/8 of an inch to the fold line. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and just use it to flatten out any blue bubbles that are there, and I'm going to do it on both sides. Then I'm going to take it, the Boho Designer Series paper where we did the masking, and I'm going to put glue on the back side of that. And then we're going to put that on our 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches piece of white thick cardstock, or that'd be 10.5 by 13.7. And I'm going to center that on there, and that gives us 1/16 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in centimeters. Just center it on the card. And I'm just going to go with my bone folder. I'm trying not to go over the masked portion. And I'm going to go on the back side and just go gently across the back. Alright. Then we can bring this to the front of the... Oh, and I did it again! See what I did? I put the inside sentiment on sideways. So we can fix that easily. Let me get this done first. And we're going to put this on here, and we're going to center it. Again, that's like 1/16 of an inch on all 4 sides. So just make sure it's centered, because I don't know what that 1/16 of an inch is. Probably about 0.1 of a centimeter. And I'm just going to use my bone folder again to just get the glue bubbles out. Not going over the masking because I don't want to scrape that off from there. But I am going to go on the back side here and go from the back side. Okay, let me see if I can't find a piece of paper to fix my boo-boo. I've got a piece of paper here. We can cut this down. So I'm going to make it 4 inches by 5 1/4. So we'll cut the 5 1/4 first. And 5 1/4 would be 13.3 centimeters. And then the 4 inches is going to be 10.2 centimeters. There we go. And we'll bring in our, good thing I didn't clear that off from there yet. We cleaned it, but we didn't clear it off. So we're going to use our black, tuxedo black Memento ink. And I'm going to center it. And I centered it from right to left, and then I just off-centered it a little bit to give me room to sign underneath. And hopefully I angled it properly, because you remember I told you that I'd put the stamp on crooked. We'd like to angle it so it looks straight. And I'm just going to scrub this real quick. All right. So we're going to put our glue on the back side of this. And I'm going to bring this in because I've been really close to the edges there and I don't want to get my work surface all dirty. It's really hard to get the glue out once you get that on the work surface. Okay, so now I can just go right over the top of the card that's down there. There. Now you could have probably taken time and huffed it off. So if you warm up the glue, it'll release and you can pull it off. And when I said huff, you can use your breath by huffing it, like, or you could use this tool here, the heating gun, on low to help release the glue. But that worked. Now we just need to adorn the front of it. Now I have that extra piece of cardstock in the center, so it's not quite as crisp. So we've got this happy birthday, so I'm going to cut it at a slant right here. And then I'm going to try and do the same thing from the other side. There we go. And then we're going to put dimensionals on there. We'll put 3 because I don't want it to get all wacky. And if you remember right, I had to repeat it because it was crooked on the other side and smeared, and so that's why it's on this side. But that's the side we want. So let me get these off from here. You could use the take your pick tool. And I'm going to turn off my fan. I turned that on when we were drying off the card, and I forgot to shut it off. So let's just do this right here. Happy birthday. And then we'll get our gems. We'd like to put 3 gems on there. Put odd numbers anyways, and I'm going to put 3 on. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool. I'm going to use this large one here. And these are our adhesive back speckled dots. This is probably the new color, and I think that's called copper clay. And we're just going to grab one, and we'll put it down here. Then I'm going to put the other 2 above it, like this, and like this. Kind of makes a triangle. What do you think? You know what? I don't like it there. I'm going to put it on the other side, and I don't think I've got it down quick enough yet. Yeah, let's do it here. We'll do one up there. And let's do it down here. I liked it better that way. This is more like the other card that I did. So we are done with our card. Well, I hope you liked this project as much as I did. As you can see, you could change this sentiment out. Have it be a sympathy card or thinking of you card. Almost just about anything. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji. That means you like it. Would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. I'd like to apologize to you about the poor quality of tonight's video. I noticed as I was editing, the camera wasn't centered, meaning some of the images were being cropped off at the top. On a good note, I'm taking next week off to focus on researching and hopefully purchasing a new setup. I won't be back until Sunday, September 10th at 7 p.m. We'll be doing something from the new mini catalog. I'm hoping you'll be able to join me. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.